Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to my plot today. Thank you so much for joining me again. Got quite a lot to do as we're approaching mid-July. I'm sorry, not mid-July, as we're approaching early July, midway through the year. So let's take a quick look at what's going on at the moment. We've got the cabbages still growing strong. Well, actually, they're not doing that well. They are struggling a little bit. Someone said to me the other day, they came by to fill up their watering can and they mentioned that you potentially should put some lime on there. That will help them grow. So I'm going to try and get hold of some lime and then add that. But one is just beginning to develop a head, but it's tiny and it doesn't quite look the right shape. So I need to take a look at that and, as I say, hopefully try and get some lime on there. And then the potatoes, these are growing really quite well. They're beginning to get their flowers, so I think they will soon be ready to harvest. And then for the cucumbers, well, the two cucumbers that are in this bed and the squash, going to look to maybe take this net off this week because I think they're quite well established now and I don't think the slugs are going to get them. So I'm going to remove that net at some point, and then done a bit of work on the other new bed, putting the path next to it. So in there I'm thinking maybe to plant some peas. I don't know if it's too late or not, but might consider putting those in there. And then I've also got, well, not much going on in these front beds. I need to do some weeding in here. So I'm going to work on that and clear those out, and then hope to get some onions in that front bed. There are already some in there. Would like to get some more in there, and then the peas and beans that were in this bed, I need to clear that out because they're not doing very well at all. So I'm going to work on that. The rhubarb down here is doing really quite well. Since I've cleared the bed of all the weeds, it seems to have come back a lot stronger. So I'm going to try and harvest a bit more of that. Someone said you need quite a lot, and they were correct. The 3 stalks that I took last time, as soon as I stewed them, I only got about a spoonful of rhubarb, so I'm certainly going to take a bit more of that to grow. And then the corn is also doing well. It's survived over the last few weeks, and those sunflowers are also doing really well. They're probably about 3, maybe 4 feet, no, probably about 3.5 feet. So I'm pleased with them. And then going on in the polytunnel, I'm not quite so sure about this experiment in here. This is not looking particularly great. The leaves are trying to turn up towards the sun, so I think it's struggling a bit, but there is one true leaf there, and it's maybe might survive, but I'm not convinced. But there is one exciting thing. Well, actually, there's one not so exciting thing. My cucumber has got this white powdery stuff on it, which I don't think is a good sign. So I'm not sure what to do with that, whether to cut the leaf off or mainly on that one. There's a tiny bit on this one, and the others seem okay. I'm a little bit worried about that because this is the only decent cucumber I've got, and I don't particularly want to lose it. But one good exciting thing, let me turn this around. My aubergine plant, somewhere in here, I did just begin to see, yes, here, there is a aubergine beginning to develop. So that's exciting. There's quite a few actually. There's another one down in there. It's looking a bit bigger. So that's really exciting. I hadn't been holding out much hope for those aubergines, but that one's looking really good, so I'm really pleased that if that does develop into one, that'll be the first time I've ever grown aubergines. It's quite exciting. Just need the melons to also grow now, and then it'll be a successful year. As you can see, several of these onions are beginning to flop over now, so I want to pull them up, pull up the rest of the garlic at the front, and then clear this bed ready for something else to go in here in the next few weeks. So that's what I'm going to work on next. Good, that is looking a tiny bit better, and I'm really pleased with a really good harvest of onions there. We've got 6 really good big ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are going to be, hopefully taste really nice. The smaller ones were okay, but these big ones I'll let them dry out, and then I don't know how long they keep, but I will keep them as long as I can. Actually, I've got some cooking to do today, so most of them will probably get used up, but they look good. Very good indeed. Going to leave those last few in there to mature. and hopefully in the next couple of weeks pick those, and that'll be that bed done. I can then get something else in there or leave that bed to rest for the rest of the year. So I had planned on doing a last sowing of peas and turnips today, but in typical fashion I've forgotten to bring any of my seeds with me, so I'm a little bit stuck there. I can't sow those, and I'm not going to go home and pick them up and then bring them all the way back here. I do have the rest of this corn I need to get into the ground, so I'm going to try and, well, what I think I might do is clear the beds that are still overgrown with weeds for the rest of today, and then there's some strawberries in there that I need to work out if they're still alive or not. I think they need a good water because they've not really been watered the whole year, and it's been extremely dry. And today is supposed to be the hottest day of the year, although, well, it's early in the morning at the moment. It's about 6:30 in the morning. But if it does turn out to be the hottest day of the year, then they're going to need some water. Well, they haven't been watered all year, so I'm not even sure if they are still alive in there. But I need to take a look. And then there's also some potatoes. I don't know if you remember when I first got my seed potatoes, I put 2 lots in buckets, and those buckets have died right back now. So I'm going to empty those out, see if there's any potatoes in there. They'll go quite nice with the onions, and then that might be it for today. I do want to look at the gooseberries as well. I keep meaning to take a look at them and see how well they're doing, because they should be ripe by now, hopefully. So I can't remember what someone said. I think maybe it was July I'm supposed to wait till. But I'll have a look, see what they're like. I've got these aren't blueberries, but these little berries on here. I also want to find out what this bush is, but I'm not sure if I don't think these are edible. I can't remember if someone said they're edible or not. Maybe not. I'd like to, well, I think someone said you can make gin out of them or something. So maybe pick a few of them, or at least find out what that plant is. But yes, that's the plan for the rest of today. I'm waffling on now. But yes, let's see where I get to. So this is the first bucket of potatoes. This was my first earlies. Can't remember when I planted these, but it was some time ago. And all the foliage has died back off them, so I'm going to empty this out, see if there's any treasure in here. I'm hoping for a few potatoes, but let's take a look and see. There's one very tiny little one. This might end up being a bit too early actually. They're all going to be this size. Let's keep going. There's a big one there, but I think that's the seed potato. These aren't too bad actually. These are nice little salad potatoes. That seed potato still looks perfect, as if it's not been put to work at all. But that one wasn't great. There's a handful of potatoes there. But there is one more tub. Let's go and have a look at that one. I'm beginning to think this might have been the first early variety. Oh, actually, this isn't looking much better either. Let's pull one of these, and if it's no good, then I'll leave the rest. That looks more like an onion than a potato. I think these need a bit longer, to be honest. Although I do want these tubs, and I've got loads growing in the ground, so I might just pick them anyway. They'll be alright as little salad potatoes. Right, I'm going to leave the rest of them because they're not doing much, and crack on with clearing that bit of the plot. You can see just how incredibly dry it's been by how deep the cracks are going in the ground. They go really deep down. As I say, this area hasn't been watered at all this year, and to be fair, the strawberries actually don't look too bad. They seem to be surviving it. But anyway, let's get the rest of that cleared. nice and clear. Rather than let these mini pop corn go to waste, I think they will do quite well in here. And if they don't, then I'm not too bothered, because I would have ended up just throwing them away otherwise. You know, this ground is incredibly dry and tough to dig, but let's get them in here anyway, see what happens. I feel like it's just got too hot to do much else today, and it's still so early. I've lifted off the cover off the squash and cucumbers, so hopefully they will do okay. I think in this dry weather they'll be fine. There's not many slugs around at all at the moment, so that's good news. We're going to stop there today. That's enough for a hot day like today, and we'll be back next week with more exciting things taking place on the plots. Have an amazing week, and thank you for joining me, and I'll catch you again soon.